up with the toaster. I'm only guessing on that. But I did it in the regular toaster, and it was fine. It was neither better nor worse than the microwave version of a Pop-Tart. I would say the one place where the microwave has an advantage is that the microwave tends to make the inside a little hotter than the outside, whereas if you use the toaster, the outside gets real hot too, so you can burn your fingers if you're not careful. But still, the even heating that comes with the toaster is quite lovely. And then finally, the very important thing that I learned that I never really thought about before. So, all right, I need to make an admission here. This is not going to be easy for me to say, but I'm going to say it. I can barely get the words out because it causes me such a level of shame and horror as a parent, like I've failed. And I feel like someone might turn me into Child Protective Services if I say what I'm going to say. But it's very important for me to be honest with you in the mornings. When one of my children likes brown sugar Pop-Tarts, I've said it. Please don't call Child Protective Services. I'm doing the best I can as a parent. So my wife bought, I don't even know which kid it is, by the way. I don't know which kid because I feel like if I knew, then I might have to take some corrective measures. So I don't even know which of the kids it is that likes the brown sugar Pop-Tarts, but it's one of them. I don't know which one. I don't want to know. Another kid likes s'mores Pop-Tarts. Also not my thing, but whatever. And I love the blueberry frosted. So what I did was, Kristen had bought the brown sugar for someone. I bought the s'mores for the kid who likes s'mores Pop-Tarts, and then I bought blueberry Pop-Tarts for myself. And they're on the counter, each in their little boxes. And the next thing I know, Shannon, there's a little basket. And my wife is taking the aluminum pouches, the thin aluminum pouches, out of the Pop-Tart boxes, put all the little aluminum pouches, each of which has 2 Pop-Tarts, of course, in this basket and thrown away the boxes. And what I've learned, which I actually think is a little surprising, and I imagine this must be done on purpose by whoever makes Pop-Tarts. Who makes Pop-Tarts? Is it Kellogg's? I don't know who makes Pop-Tarts. I should know that. Anyway, the flavor of the Pop-Tart is not noted on the aluminum pouch. And so when my wife took them out and put them all in this basket, there's no way to identify what flavor Pop-Tart, yeah, it is Kellogg's, what flavor Pop-Tart is in what pouch, unless you open them up and have a look. But then what if you opened them up and accidentally were exposed to a brown sugar Pop-Tart? I mean, as it is, the foil is kind of like if there were a container that would shield Superman from the effects of kryptonite, and you could carry it around in this container, and it would be okay as long as it were in there. But as soon as you crack open the container, then you're exposed, and you feel yourself just getting weaker and weaker. That's like opening the tin foil on a brown sugar Pop-Tart. And anyway, please, if you buy multiple flavors of Pop-Tarts, remember that the flavors are not listed on the aluminum pouch. So if you take them out of the box, either write on the aluminum pouch or keep them separate or do something. And please don't put yourself through the living hell of going for a blueberry frosted Pop-Tart and opening a pouch that has a brown sugar Pop-Tart in it. All right, I feel like I've gone through a early week session of therapy, and I thank you for being my therapist this morning. I needed that, and I'm grateful. We got a lot to do today, including a couple of remarkable guests. I have only 2 guests booked today, but boy, what 2 guests we've got. An hour from now, a little less than an hour from now, Alan Dershowitz joins the show. First time ever. I've tried a few times without success in the past to get him on the show, but he's going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about an event coming up this Wednesday in Greenwood Village, where Dershowitz is actually going to debate a Yale law professor. Dershowitz is a Harvard law professor, on the question of should the university, not any one university, but the university as a category of institution, censor speech? And if so, on what basis? And this is going to be right here in Denver, and the debate's going to be moderated by Jillian Melchior of the Wall Street Journal. This is coming up Wednesday evening. You can actually go to the event in person, and I'll have all that for you in a little while. It'll all be up on the blog, too. And then at 8:05, Joel Rosenberg, multi-million copies of books, best-selling author, got a brand-new novel out that I finished. I'll hold it up to the camera right now for those folks watching on YouTube. I'll hold it up again when Joel is on the show. We'll probably be on Facebook for that, but his book is called The Beirut Protocol. I've read the whole thing. Super exciting thriller. Joel will be joining us from Jerusalem when we speak to him later today. I don't yet know whether we are going to be able to get a Zoom connection going with him, but anyway, that's very, very exciting. I was digging around trying to find an appointment to get a COVID vaccine for myself. I haven't been able to even get to the place where I can set an appointment yet, because every time I log in, to the King Soopers, which redirects to Albertsons, and to Walgreens, they just say no appointments available, no appointments available, no appointments available. I'm trying. I thought I'd just keep you up to date on that, because throughout all of this, I think my mindset has been similar to that of a lot of people, which is if I'm not in a high-risk group, I don't mind the idea of getting it. I just want to feel like it's been around long enough that there's a decent safety profile, and I haven't heard a lot of bad stories about bad side effects. And this is kind of where I am right now. I'd like life to be back to normal a little bit more for me and my family and all that. Oh, you've got an appointment? Where's your appointment, Shannon?
Anschutz.
Really? How'd you sign up for it?
I'm just part of United Healthcare. No, University
of Colorado.
Understanding insurance is one of my. You were talking about kryptonite. Yeah, I don't get it. But I just I have an app on my phone, and it said, "Please set your appointment." Doink.
Wow, excellent. And do you know whether you're getting the first dose of a 2-dose vaccine? Okay, so gotcha. I'll take what someone said to me. The best vaccine is the one you can get. If I could choose, I would probably choose the single dose, just because it's a single dose, not really because of important differences, I think, in efficacy or anything like that. In fact, the 2-dose one is probably more efficacious, but I wouldn't mind only having one appointment. Either way, I'm trying to get it done, and I just thought I'd keep you posted on that. Oh, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Let's talk about Kamala Harris for a minute. And I'm sorry to do that to you, in the morning, but I'm not playing any Kamala audio. You never know what might pop up. Every once in a while, Hillary listens to the show, and sometimes she shows up making noise. You never know who's going to show up around here. But let's just talk about Kamala for a second. And it occurs to me, and I mentioned this a little bit last week as well, I wonder what's going on with Biden and Harris. On the one hand, it looks like I saw a tweet saying that the White House is actually calling it on the White House website, and I haven't verified this myself, but the Biden-Harris administration. You never hear presidents talk, include their vice president's name and, official White House stuff like so prominently. And she seems to be wherever he is, like a little Forrest Gump, like walking around behind him, making sure she knows what he's doing, so that in case he keels over or falls down the steps coming off of Air Force One and can't go on with his day, that she can take over. I mean, it's the oddest thing. But you do have to wonder a little bit, whether Joe Biden doesn't like Kamala Harris very much for two reasons. Number one, and we talked about this on Friday, Joe Biden said that he plans to run for re-election. A lot of people thought that he wouldn't. Now, just to be very clear, a president in his first term these days, the way politics is these days, cannot say that he's not going to run for re-election, even if he's not. Because as soon as he does, he loses an incredible amount of influence over members of his party who are in Congress who will want his help running for re-election, raising money, and all that. Because when you say you're not running for re-election, similarly to if you're a president in a second term and can't run for re-election, depending on your level of political capital to begin with, you're already a wasting asset. You know, you're already worth a little less with every passing day because the other politicians primarily care about how you can help them get reelected. And that's difficult when you're not going to run for reelection yourself. So Kamala Harris, everybody knows, has presidential ambitions because she ran for president. Now, she's a bad candidate. She's not a likable person. Her policy choices are way to the left of America. They're even a little bit to the left of the center of the Democratic Party right now, which is quite far left, but she's to the left of that. Her voting record is about the most leftist in the Senate. It was when she was in the Senate, like with Pocahontas and with Bernie Sanders. Oh, quick thing. Whenever I say Pocahontas on the radio, somebody, and it's not always the same person, somebody will email me and say, Ross, that's very nice. That's not very nice. I'm sorry. That's not very nice, and you should be above all that. You should be above all that kind of name calling, and it's a little bit racist or something anyway to call her Pocahontas. And so first of all, I don't care. And second of all, it's not true because she deserves it. She's the one who claimed to be part Cherokee in order to advance herself in the professional world and whatever other way. And people should be reminded of it every day in every way. And so calling her Pocahontas is both useful and amusing. So please don't email me that you don't like it. Anyway, here's a piece from The Hill from yesterday. Biden's plan for re-election freezes Democratic field. President Biden's announcement that he plans to run for re-election could mean a late start to the primary process if he changes his mind. Biden, in announcing his plans, hedged by referring to fate potentially intervening in his expectation to run. But even if his plans change, Biden has put the future on hold for the next generation of Democrats, many of whom are decades younger, and lost to him in the 2020 primaries. That includes Vice President Harris, who would be in a prime spot to carry Biden's mantle if he decided to step aside. Biden probably needs somebody to carry his mantle and to carry anything else. Seems like a frail old dude. Anyway, so that's one thing. You know, if you know Kamala wants to run for president, and I'm thinking from Biden's perspective, you know Kamala wants to run for president because she already ran for president. You know that you, Biden, early on in this process, talked a little bit about being sort of a transition president from Biden to some kind of more, quote unquote, normal times to whatever might be next. And so you at least implied that you would only run for one term. And I think that had Kamala and a bunch of other Democrats quite excited. All right, we could try again in 2024. That's not that long. But now if you start thinking 2028, 8 years from now, that is a long, long time, though I have to say, even though we're only a few months into a Biden presidency, it is difficult for me to see this dude getting reelected unless Republicans nominate a terrible candidate. I don't know who, like if they nominate Trump. Biden's so bad at this point, even Trump could possibly beat him. Iffy, but even Trump could possibly beat Biden. But if the Republicans put up someone who's a little bit less divisive than Trump, you'd think Biden would be pretty easy to take out in the next election. But Biden, by saying that he's going to run for re-election, really, just there's a knife in the back of Kamala Harris. And then, it's very interesting how this next bit is playing out. You remember, it was reported all over the place that Biden asked Harris to fix the problems at the border. She's a weird person to choose for that because she likes the problems at the border. She doesn't like the optics. She doesn't like the bad press. But she is all for flooding the nation with illegal aliens, and she is all for open borders. And she and every other Democrat were all for their own health care plans, including free health care for illegal immigrants. She's absolutely the wrong person. But put that aside for a second. The key thing with that, where it falls into this category of, boy, Biden must not like her very much, is that's a problem that is almost impossible to solve at this point because Biden has screwed the pooch so badly by telling Central Americans and Mexicans that it's safe to come and that they should come. He told them that during the campaign. He said they should surge toward the border and I'll let them in. Well, here they are. Here they are. With the cartels making a reported $14 million a day off of them. This problem cannot be solved anytime soon. So by putting Harris in charge of it, it puts her in charge of a problem that she can't solve, and it's definitely going to make her look bad. Now there's a headline from Fox News, quote, Vice President Harris is not doing the border, senior advisor says. So now they're trying to back that off and say, well, she's just going to be involved with bigger picture regional foreign policy negotiations, but not actually what's going on the border. I don't blame her for trying to weasel out of that. When we come back, a lot of people want to know what I think about the sexual assault accusations against Tay Anderson.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Ross.